And I mean, Moon, I don't think is gearing up to do an expand soon. He's getting Hydralisk Den, he's getting melee attack and range attack, he's getting speed for the roaches. I mean, it looks like he does have enough resources to sneak in an expansion, but there is almost certainly going to be some kind of pressure applied by Moon. He is getting all the big mid-game units, and there's, a whiff on the force field, not going to be able to pin any of those Zerglings behind.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult. The drone saturation is decent, but, I mean, moving forward, getting that other expansion is going to be very difficult for Moon to actually populate everything. I feel like this is going to be almost like a low economy pressure, and Zergling's going to run through, attacking all the probes, pulling them offline. They do a whole position command, but none of them are able to take out any of those probes. Zerglings are just going to skirt away. There was a little bit of damage in the mining time, but not that much. I still feel like Moon has a good handle on this game.
We do see a Twilight Council going down now by the natural expansion for HasuObs. That blink, again, one of his only tools to be able to combat this very fast, aggressive composition from Moon. And I am loving this incorporation of Hydralisk into the mix, Andre. This can make for a very, very tough to deal with army. And even getting those Zergling upgrades. Zergling's one of the few units that can slip beneath the cracks of those force fields. Two more get thrown down by HasuObs, a little needlessly, but it looks like Moon swinging along the left flank, trapping with the Zerglings, catching the Protoss army off guard. Brilliant execution there by Moon.
And now all these gateway units are caught way out of position. There's a lot of options for Moon right now. He can attack, he can back up, he can do anything, because catching so many sentries like that out of position is so crucial. Now we can see a couple of attacks going on each of the sides. Roaches are just going to burrow on the right-hand side, and the Stalkers are going to chase out these 3 Roaches and Zerglings. But it looks like these sentries are again going to be sandwiched.
Some very cool repositioning going on by WeMadeFox's Moon, and he just burrows, waits until those force fields dissipate, and will continue with the attack. But wow, HasuObs has an answer. He's going to continue to send all of his units there to try to reinforce. We do see the plus attack is going down. That would bring HasuObs to +2. No observers out on the field yet, and it looks like HasuObs will be able to sneak back. The unburrow, wow, catches a handful of units at the backside.
Beautifully executed, taking out 2 of the sentries, and that puts Moon in a very comfortable position. Again, eliminating those sentries eliminates force fields and eliminates Guardian Shield. It just does so much for the huge battle that is about to, or will ensue later on in the game.
Looks like HasuObs is going for a gigantic, powerful 2-base play. We do see the Robotics Bay going down. That will allow him to begin making the Colossus one of the scariest units for the Zerg player to deal with. But HasuObs is in an awkward position because he's essentially pinned to playing defensively. 171 food versus 93.
Yeah, very, very difficult position for HasuObs. I'm kind of worried. He hasn't played defensive for quite a long time. And you know what? Playing defensive without that sentry count is extremely difficult. For now, Moon is going ahead and taking another base in the top left-hand corner, just extending his macro lead.
Moon actually misplacing the hatch a little bit, can be snuck up a little higher, so he's not playing as perfectly as one would imagine, having seen everything go on. But I mean, like, essentially nearly flawless play from Moon. He just seems to have complete control, great unit positioning. There's the blink underneath the Overlord to pick that off, and I love this little wall off by HasuObs. But again, HasuObs is trying to get to max, and only then does he really want to engage against the Zerg army.
Yeah, and the Zerg, all Moon has to do right now is lean on his opponent, force that army composition to come out, spend those force fields, make it extremely difficult for him to progress onwards, because if you have to keep committing to gateway units and you're not getting things like Colossus, like High Templar, it can become extremely difficult. Now, Bro goes down.
Burrow advancing forward, a nice force field by HasuObs. Some very solid defense going on, but he does not have range yet for those Colossus. In the meantime, a counterattack with Roaches and Hydras at the natural expansion. HasuObs trying to reposition, but Moon pinching both ends at the same time. HasuObs has to decide, what does he want to keep alive? Moon just going for the surround. The Colossus falls. Moon doing a beautiful job of hitting the Protoss wherever he is weak. There's the burrow. He's getting massive healing going on while taking some damage. Now HasuObs has yet another Colossus out on the field, but Moon does kill off the Nexus. Moon in a completely dominating position. HasuObs has to pull back to the bottom right. Expansion now warping in more Stalkers there, trying to crunch. He will be able to clean up this army, but 17 more roaches in production for Moon.
Ooh, the Hydros are chasing the one Colossus. Will get it down. There's just a couple bit, but it goes down. A critical blow, and he wants to get that Colossus tech as high as possible. He wants to get as many numbers, but it feels like Moon has too much of a grasp on the game for him to ever allow that. You know what? HasuObs is pushing out right now, but still, I mean, this force is very minimal, and Roach is going to come in over here and deny this completely.
Looks like HasuObs is trying to do whatever he can to keep the Zerg on some kind of defensive, but Moon is not going to fall for any of those positional tricks. He is just going to go straight for it. HasuObs has to blink to retreat, trying to get a Colossus out, some big damage dealing unit to support his Stalker count. But at this point in time, HasuObs is in absolute shambles in his base, trying to retake his natural, trying to get more resources up and running, and in the meantime, it is a complete and total lockdown by Moon.
Yeah, having that gold expansion up so early enabled him to have so much pressure. Once that mine's out, he will be a little bit tougher, but we can see that he has so much banked. 4,000 minerals banked, 1,000 gas. So Moon is in fantastic position to just keep this constant pressure. Again, he just needs to lean on this army, force the trades. He can get his Roach and Hydra composition up much faster, and it just diminishes the amount of huge AoE damage that
HasuObs losing a couple of Zealots, as you can hear by those excessively loud screams of their death. We do see a couple more Colossi en route, and HasuObs is starting to stabilize a little bit. If he can get to the 140, 150 food count, he can defend himself. But we see Moon again trying to find any weakness and just exploiting it incredibly well. There's the Colossus coming out, dealing damage from the side. Uh-oh, this could be a misstep by Moon. If HasuObs can position this properly, he'll be in good shape. But it looks like there are a lot of Zerg units, and right now HasuObs doing a great job managing both sides, both angles. The one thing that's vulnerable, though, is this center nexus. Moon knows it. He's target firing, and it looks like taking a lot of damage there. The nexus falls down, but HasuObs is continuing to replenish a frightening amount of Stalkers.
And this is exactly what HasuObs needs. He cleans up every single one of the Roaches, and that's going to be critical. Now, if he can keep this up and keep the retention of his army, he will be looking really, really strong. I mean, he still retained both of the Colossus. He hasn't gotten any more Colossus right now.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of Banelings, Greetorp. And the only way that Protoss is going to be able to deal with that well is with some crazy blinks and some massive damage dealt by those Colossi. The two changelings following along with this army. Again, HasuObs knows how badly he needs to do damage. He's on creep, he's on creep, he needs to be careful. There's so many Banelings. Uh-oh, not quite enough, says Moon. He's making more. And this is gonna have to be a miracle defense. Moon right now with 116 Banelings.
And HasuObs,
wow.
I didn't know if he knew it, but he did the right decision and backed up. He needs either sentries in this army or a lot more Colossus right now, but he needs something to deal with. Oh my gosh, so many Banelings.
I mean, Moon might think this is a Muse map settings game. He is making so many freaking Banelings, and this is going to have to be some perfect control. Looks like Moon has some devious intentions. He's moving down towards the natural, and there's the plants on the two pylons. Huge numbers of Banelings swarming in, starting to drill through, blinking back. The Colossus taking huge hits. The Colossus fall, and Moon just has so many Banelings rolling in. A stunning finish. More Banelings continue to roll into the main, obliterating everything in their path. Buildings, units, you name it, Banelings are good against it. HasuObs still doing some blink micro, but there it is.